let's start on the junior side of things, Mr. Ellis. The Memorial Cup is set. Every series ends in a sweep to wrap up the CHL finals across the country. So it feels like we have a lot of wagons going head to head in Saginaw. But is there one team that stands out to you?
When you look at the three champions that won, being London, Moose Jaw, and Drummondville, they combined for just 7 losses in the entire playoffs, which is unbelievable. And all those sweeps obviously showed kind of the strength of these teams. But I got to go with London. This has got to be one of the strongest teams I think I've ever seen at this level. You know, they dominated the regular season. They got good goaltending. They got fantastic defense. They got Easton Cowan, who I voted for OHL playoff MVP because he was just that good. And watching this team in person against Oshawa in Game 4, a 7-1 win, which, by the way, Oshawa is going to be pretty good next year, but allowing at least 7 goals in all 4 of those games definitely will hurt. But watching this team, they just don't have a weakness. They're just so strong up front. And when you've got 4 lines that could score, and you've got Easton Cowan, you got Casper Halton, and you got all those guys, and you got Oliver Bonk and Sam Dickinson and guys like that putting up points from the blue line, it's just like, I do not want to face those guys right now.
So I love watching Mem Cup hockey and can't wait to see it. But from a pure prospects perspective, who you have your eye on the most? Where's your eye trained?
Well, for sure, you got to go look at Sam Dickinson with the London Knights. I actually just posted a story about him about an hour ago and talking to some scouts, and there were a lot watching him in Oshawa. You know, he's a beast. And the one thing that kind of kept getting brought up to me was wait till he gets to the draft combine and watch how he's near the top in most of the drills they do there. This is a guy that I'm a huge fan of. I think should be in the top 5 conversation here, just an all-around good defenseman. And then if you're not looking for someone who's, you know, maybe more all around, maybe you want to get some more offense on the point, you look at Saginaw and Zane Parekh, and he put up over 30 goals, over 90 points this year. Just an unbelievable season in the OHL. One of the best we've ever seen from a defenseman out of the OHL as a draft eligible. And the good thing with him and the whole Saginaw team is, you know, yeah, they haven't played in a while, but they're going to be rested. They're healthy. They're going to be going into this, you know, having prepared for this moment for a while. They are the host, and I think this is a good opportunity for him to shine. So those are the 2 I'm looking at in terms of draft prospects. And obviously, if you look at Moose Jaw, when you got Denton Matejchuk, Jager Furkis, Braden Yeager, that's going to be a team that's going to be riding pretty high too.
Yeah, it's the way that this top 10 is shaping up, including someone like Zane Parekh and where he ends up falling, is they're going to have a lot to say with how this tournament plays out. Over at the Worlds, you've been, you know, tuned in there as well. Of course, I say all the time, no one watches more hockey than Stephen Ellis, but when you're looking at these Worlds, who's jumping off the page for you in terms of what they've accomplished so far in Czechia?
So you say that, I do have 2 games open here right now, Great Britain, Denmark, and Kazakhstan, Germany. And the Great Britain, Denmark game has been unbelievable. When
you watch Great Britain play hockey, that's when you know you have a problem.
Hey, they're in the top division. And they're playing really good. Liam Kirk's having a good
but
game
they're
here.
in the top division because Russia and Belarus aren't there. So
yes.
Carry on.
That is true. No, that is true. In terms of who's looking really good here, Connor Bedard, obviously, you expect big things from him. He's got 5 goals already. He was pretty good in those first couple games, slowed down a little bit in the last game, but I'm not too worried about him there. He's Connor Bedard. Matt Boldy, though, might be my pick for MVP in this tournament. And he's not dominating offensively here, but the one thing he's doing, he's just probably the best all-around player in this tournament. He's showing really good chemistry with Johnny Gaudreau and Brock Nelson. He's being really good defensively. He's been very physical. He actually almost got into a fight with Joel Eriksson-Ek, which I thought was pretty funny. And then you look at Roman Josi out here. He's leading the tournament in points, 8 points, almost all on the power play, but that's kind of how Switzerland has to win these games. They have to go out there and use that extra ice to their advantage. And he's been so good at that there too. So again, this has been an extremely fun tournament. You know, we talk about how good the second round of the playoffs are. I'd argue the World Championship for a lot of the best games here are just as good, if not better.
Interesting stuff. Last one I got for you back on the prospect side of things, Stephen. Any kids out at the Worlds that are really catching your eye and maybe boosting up their draft stock?
Well, one draft guy for sure that we're looking at here is Stian Solberg out of Norway. He's playing over 22 minutes a night. He's someone entering this tournament, I thought maybe could go out there and push himself into the first round conversation. And right now, I 100% believe so. He's just been that dominant of a player. He's contributed a few goals offensively. He's gotten himself in trouble a few times out there on the penalty minute side, but he's making up for it in really good defensive play. But the one player that I've absolutely loved watching in this tournament is Oliver Kapanen. He's leading the tournament with 6 goals. He's a Montreal Canadiens prospect. A lot of those goals have been tips. I think 3 or 4 have been him just standing in front of the net and being in the right spot at the right time. But he's also worked really hard to retrieve those pucks and play a really good two-way game. So, I know there's been some Canadiens fans who wonder, like, could he step into the NHL next year? Now, he does have a deal in the SHL, but, if they could work at something out, him signing an NHL entry contract and maybe start out at training camp, I think he could be a third-line center next year. He's just having that good of a tournament. And you don't want to overrate prospects too much at a tournament like this because, yes, it is not best on best, but he's out there performing way better than guys that are top 2 centers in the NHL on their respective teams. So I think that Oliver Kapanen is just really, really helping his stock here.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Steven on the way out of the next wave here. I got an email yesterday from a watcher, viewer, listener, reader, Brian McOwen is his name. And he said he tracked 7 different NHL draft rankings from January to April. So he compared them all from 7 different scouting services or websites, so to speak, and found that Stephen Ellis had the best rankings based on average, and he did all the math. So no surprise there. That's also by opinion. So if Steven is nailing it with his opinion and everyone else is sort of close to or falling in line, it just goes to show you how good of a job Steven's done as our prospect analyst. So thanks to Brian McOwen for the nice note, and thanks to Steven for keeping us up to date.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.